Ghostface is back with a new group of killers after the twins in the last movie. But how does Scream 6 compare to the previous ones? Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Is Joshua Future Filmmaker Reviews. I'm talking movies, TV, music. This is going to be a non-spoiler filled review of Scream 6. This is the newest entry in the Scream series. This is directed by Radio Silence, and this is the fifth movie in the Scream series. This stars Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Mason Gooding, and Courtney Cox, and Jasmine Savoy Brown, and Hayden Panettiere. And if you guys are new to the channel, on my socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Snapchat, TikTok, all of that is in the description box down below if you would like to follow me on those. Also, my Amazon wishlist is down there as well. And if you would like to send any money to my Cash App, that's down there as well. I very much appreciate you guys for being here with me on the channel today. Four survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in the fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage. When it comes to the Scream series, I think overall this is the most consistent horror franchise that we've gotten so far. All of the Scream movies has been pretty awesome for me. I definitely enjoy Scream 5. There are some people who are very divided on Scream 5, but I appreciated that it was a new set of characters. It was harking back to the original as a reboot legacy sequel, but I felt like it was necessary. Certain decisions didn't make a lot of people happy, especially one involving a certain legacy character. But I enjoyed the film myself, and it was one of my favorites of 2022. Still need to do my best movies 2022 video.
Important. Why did you say 6 months?
Well, why did you say 5 minutes?
When it comes to this new Scream film, I was very excited. We were taking Ghostface out of Woodsboro and into a new setting. This was the third movie in the series to do that, with Scream 3 and Scream 2. And it was going to be in New York City, and there was so much you could do in terms of what you could play with Ghostface going around in the city, attacking people, killing people, and I thought it could be a very interesting little sequel. I did have my concerns, because for the first time in the series, we would not be having the character of Sidney Prescott in here. And there's been a lot of debacle about that with Nev Campbell and Spy Glass Entertainment Media Group, because the offer she was presented was unacceptable. I went into this movie optimistic. I love the trailers, I like the marketing, and I can say this confidently. I do really enjoy Scream 6, but is it one of my favorites in the series? No. But I think for most Scream fans, they're going to go into it very much enjoying what is presented to them. I can see also a lot of Scream fans being turned off by a lot of decisions made in this movie. One of them especially taking Ghostface out of his traditional. But for me personally, I think Scream 6 is a solid enough sequel that takes the 25-year-long running franchise now into some new territory. Like it's never going into the pros, the things I really enjoyed about this movie. I like the fact that this movie takes part of its New York setting. It doesn't cheat you out like Jason Takes Manhattan, even though I do like Jason Takes Manhattan. It doesn't cheat you out. Enjoy that opening. And you get to see some good landscapes in New York City. You get to see the way they use New York City and Ghostface. It doesn't hold them back. It takes advantage of what it's out to do. Yes, I've heard some people online say that it doesn't do much with Ghostface being in New York, but honestly, with New York, with a lot of people in New York and so many buildings and areas, there's only so much you can do in New York. So I'm glad they used the best of their advantages in this movie. And Also, I do love the fact that this does take some new rules. It takes the Scream rules that we use and changes it up, makes it feel fresh enough while not destroying what people love about that original Scream movie. It definitely keeps in check what we know about the Scream series. This time, it's taking on the trend of film franchises, the legacy of film franchises, and the subversion of audience expectations, because sometimes audience expectations and subverting their expectations is not always going to be the best choice for people. It's been talked about a lot with a lot of movies and games recently, like The Last Jedi, Last of Us 2, in terms of what happens to a certain character, the video game, even some comic books and stuff here. But of course, I like that the fact that it is taking a stab at talking about those. And also, you do like elements of black comedy and the whodunit mystery. They keep that in check. It's been in check since 1996, and I definitely appreciate that part. Direction wise, I felt that Matt Bellamy, Open, and Tyler Gillett, these two directors, they get the direction down and they know Scream. Whereas the first movie in this new Scream trilogy had to take some pages out of the Scream series. This one, they make it their own. They are able to get more creative, they're able to loose, and they just let Ghostface do whatever Ghostface wants to do in New York. This movie does not hold back, and I definitely appreciate the movie for going that route there. And the direction wise, I think is really solid. Writing wise, for the most part, I did enjoy some of the meta commentary. Some of it is a little weird and a little iffy, which I'll get to in the negatives. But I definitely did like the direction and writing here for the most part, and you get to care more about the four core characters, specifically Sam and Tara, where Sam is very protective of Tara and she doesn't want anything to happen to her. But you also have the two twins, Chad and Mindy, from the last movie who survived. And these four core of characters do a really good job. Melissa Barrera, she was great in The Heights. I liked her in the last one, but this one they give her a lot more to play with here in terms of what she can do. And I thought she was very convincing. Because she's going through a lot, still going through a lot. And this movie does give you reasons to care about her. Jenna Ortega, once again, who is just once again continuing to have great success with these movies. X Wednesday has a bunch more other projects coming. Jenna Ortega fan here. She is great as Tara. She's not talking about elevated horror. They do tone down some of her character a little bit, but I think that was a wise decision on the writer's part to make her more emotionally vulnerable. Like, she's going through a lot as well. So I thought her performance was very good too. Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Gooden, the son of Cuba Gooding Jr., they both do really good as Chad and Mindy. I thought they were really good. I also very much liked seeing back as Gail Weathers and Hayden Panettiere. She was a pretty badass there. I loved seeing Hayden Panettiere come back, because this is one thing a lot of Scream fans were mad about when Scream 4 came out. Did they kill her? But I definitely enjoyed her performance. It was great to see Kirby back, and it was some of the new characters here. Some of them were hit and miss, but I did like some of them. I didn't mind Jack Champion as Ethan. I liked Liana Liberato, who was a standout. I do want to see her in more stuff going forward. I also liked Devin Nakota, which she's not in the movie very much, but I thought she was very good. Tony Revolori were also pretty good too. And Samara Weaving here for her little minutes of fame here. She does good here. So a lot of the cast of this movie is really good here. As far as the kills in this movie is one of the goriest, if not the most goriest, of the Scream movies. This movie is brutal, it's visceral, it is bloody, and it is violent. This movie is also nastier of the Ghostface movies. I think this is one of the most brutal ones besides the first movie. Also Scream 4 and the recent one, Scream 5. Ghostface in this movie, he is much like Michael Myers, how angry he was in Halloween Kills. He just does not give a shit. He's gonna kill anyone who gets in his way. He's gonna cut somebody up. He's gonna fuck up people, and he just doesn't care. That's what I love about Ghostface. There's more than one in this movie. I won't spoil, no spoilers, but this Ghostface does not care. He will kill you. Going back into this being its own film, the New York City stand, the New York City, the New York City change of pace definitely helps this movie. Really do like the fact that they wanted to take it to New York, so I love that part, and it goes for it. Ghostface in New York, hey, this is a lot better than what they did with Jason. Even though, again, I do like Friday the 13th Part 6, but he's awesome in this. Technical aspects aside, as well as them making his own thing, there are some great cinematography shots here. They use the cinematography to the best of their advantages. There's some great camera angles, some camera trickery that they use. The movie's editing is pretty good. 2 hours and 3 minutes. I don't feel it for the most part. I do like the musical score here by Brian Tyler, Seven Falconer. They do a great musical score as well. And for the most part, especially the first 2 acts in this movie, and also a little bit into the third act, I definitely do enjoy a lot of that there. So all of that is really good. So technical aspects aside, one of the best films in the series as far as technical wise. All of these movies look great technical wise. Whether you like these newer movies or hate these newer movies, the technical aspects aside are very good, and I definitely enjoy that. Going into the mix aspect of Scream 6, one of these movies, I will say, mixed aspect, there are some new characters here that didn't really do much for me. You have the new boyfriend character played by Josh Segar. Despite him being very acted well, I thought he was just kind of there. Now, he's good in the movie, I'll give you that. So is some other characters. Like, I think I kind of wish they had a little bit more to do, and that I do feel you could have done better. Do wish there was more character stuff when it comes to them. They're acting very well. I just wish they had a little bit more to do. Also, this movie, this is going to be a very hit and miss thing for some people. When it comes to the absence of Sidney Prescott, on one end, I'm perfectly fine with Neve Campbell's character not being in this, because honestly, I think you can do a Scream movie without a lot of these legacy characters, especially Sidney Prescott. And I definitely credit Neve Campbell for standing up for herself, not wanting to do the movie unless she gets paid a certain amount, which that's the reason why she's not in this. But you definitely do miss the character of Sidney here, and that definitely did leave a little bit of an emotional thing missing, because you do expect to see Sidney Prescott show up. So while I'm perfectly fine with it, and honestly, I do wish there was at least one moment here where you could at least put Sidney Prescott here. So I will agree with people on that type of things. That I will agree with most of you guys on. But if they want to make room for giving these new characters time to shine, I'm not shedding any tears over if Sidney Prescott is in this. Hopefully part 7, because that's supposed to be the new trilogy. They work out some kind of deal, give her the same amount of screen time here as Kirby and Gale, and then maybe you can have one last hurrah with her. I don't know how it would fit, but at the same time, that is a little bit of a mixed thing with me, but I was fine for the most part with Sidney not being here. And plus, Sidney Prescott, that character just needs a break from Ghostface. So I'm probably fine with Neve Campbell's absence here. Also, some of the meta commentary stuff, while I enjoyed most of it, I feel like some of it is a little on the nose with subversion of expectations and that. So I can definitely understand a part of that when it comes to the criticism here. So those things I feel are very mixed in terms of that. Going into what I don't like in this movie, and I'm just gonna say right now, this movie definitely does require you to suspend your disbelief. Now, I understand with these franchises, especially with Scream, you can't have a lot of these characters die in this, but honestly, you can only suspend your disbelief so much with some of these characters getting out of these situations alive that it's like, okay, at least one or two of these characters gotta die. Maybe in the last movie, Scream 7, for the of this new trilogy, it'll happen, but just little moments like that, I'm like, okay, there's no way you could survive that. There's no way that person could survive that. The movie's pacing a little bit, is a little draggy in the second half. Now, I don't feel anything. It's just maybe 5 or 10 minutes where it feels like, okay, you could have, let's speed this up, let's trim it. Okay, we get it. And there is some plot armor in this movie here that is involved, of course, which with these 4 characters surviving. Now, again, going back to suspension of disbelief, I don't mind plot armor, but if it's there, it does have to be called out because, again, one of these characters should have died here, of the main 4. I understand you want to keep them alive until the last movie in the trilogy, but come on now, you could do better with that. I'm just going to get this out of the way when it comes to the killer reveal. While I like the motivation, and I do respect the motivation, I cannot stand the performance of Delmar Mulroney in this movie. There's moments in this movie where he's trying to be very serious, and it comes off a little weird, and there are moments where he's just coming so very hammy and over the top. I'm not sure if this was the directing or it was just him personally, but whichever one it is, I feel like they needed to at least have him tone it down a little bit. But some of that you could have easily done better with terms of that. And like I said, the killer reveal, going into this, I will say it does drag the third act of this movie a little bit. And so you could have done better with that aspect. So and I wish there was a way you could have toned the hamminess of it down a little bit better. But all in all, guys, this is once again another really solid entry into the Scream series that I enjoyed. Now, I walked away pretty satisfied with the sixth entry into the series. It does live up to its promise. You do get what you're coming for. It doesn't hold back. It allows Ghostface to be as visceral as it is. I do like the main characters here more than I did in part 1 of this new trilogy. The direction is really solid. I just feel like there are a few things, some of the meta commentary, some of the new characters, some plot armor, disbelief suspension, and Sydney's absence here. Even though I'm okay with it, you could have fixed some of that up a little bit. But all in all, I don't hate Scream 6. I don't hate Scream 6 as much as some other people do. I am recommending it here. If you are a Scream fan, by all means, you already gone and seen it. This movie's doing good right now with $19 million opening weekend. So if you are a Scream fan, definitely check this out. But if you are someone who did not like the last movie, I don't think you will like this one that much. But if you will lower your expectations a little bit and know what you're getting yourself into, I think you will enjoy it more. Again, not the best one, but it's a very solid little follow-up. Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. I will have my channel here, so you will like to see anything here. Click the channel icon, subscribe for more. I will also leave a video and maybe a playlist here, so in case you want to see what I'm about. As always, stay Epictasticness, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.